All right. Welcome back to your Anime Panel podcast. I'm your host, Asher, dressed as Himmel the Hero from Free Run Beyond Journey's End. And to my left, we have...
I'm Maddie, and I'm dressed as Freerin from the same anime. We got our Halloween podcast going today, so we're all dressed up, and then we're going to be talking about some horror anime.
I'm Allie, and I am dressed as Shoko, and then I have my Gojo with me, obviously.
Yep, so I'm Mac. I'm doing a female version of Gojo.
Yeah. Previously mentioned on the podcast. Finally get to see it.
The usual Gojo cosplay.
Yes.
As Asher said, don't say Gojo for the favorite cosplay, and I said, then I cannot give you an answer.
Salutations, y'all. I'm the fellow yard dog Joshua Flores, and I'm feeling a bit giggly today.
We love that. We love that. So now that we're all dressed up, Halloween episode going, having some good vibes laid out, we've all recently endured Uzumaki.
Oh my god.
I'll say endured because it was more pleasurable for some than others. I like the art style. I'm not going to lie. Very high quality.
Yeah.
I think it looks very good. He definitely did his job in making it a little uneasy to watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which I think is the whole vibe and the whole goal.
I want to get it out of the way. How do you guys feel about the hate on episode 2? Have you guys?
Animation.
Which
Did you
story
see
was
it
that?
beforehand?
It was the animation of them running specifically.
Like, they were running on the beach, and like then he hit him, but like he didn't even hit him in the anime, and so he just fell to the ground randomly, and it was just, and then the other girl tripped for absolutely no reason, and it was just very poorly animated. But
Yeah.
other than that specific scene, I thought the rest of the episode was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was complaining about like drops in production value here and like, oh, they're falling off. And it's like all of them were realistically about the same.
And then,
It
yes,
felt like
episode
it,
3
yeah.
and 4 were really
Yeah.
good.
I will say episode 1, definitely you can see they took the most care, especially because that's kind of what they were
Setting the
promoting.
premise. And
And that's what they used for a lot of the promotion. Like, you don't really see a lot of the things from the later episodes promoted, but I think that also has to do with the things that people recognize from Uzumaki itself are the things that are in that first episode, except for the hair, which is in episode 2, I believe.
yeah.
Other than that, like, the big thing that most people think about is like the scar. You know, when you think Uzumaki, you know, all the merch for it is going to be that girl, like once that scar is expanded to like right before it consumes her eye.
Oh, yeah.
What was
Have
her
you
name?
seen that in a lot of like
Tomi?
sweaters and
Or
stuff? honestly.
Tomoe. What was her name? Tomie?
No, that was Azumi.
Yeah, that
Oh, Azami.
Azami.
Yes.
So
I
Tomoe
should
is
know
a
that.
Tomoe is kind of a similar thing where the big Junji Ito thing. She's a separate story though.
I see.
We got the manga
Yeah.
for her up there.
Yeah.
She's the one that her entire story is the fact that her like soul is just essentially in her cells.
Oh,
And so every time she dies, she just kind of like comes back. If
Regrows.
she's not and like regrows. So like there's
interesting.
so I'll let you flip through the manga like
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the pod so you can
I
kind of see
definitely
some
will.
of the stuff.
That seems interesting.
Is that in the second book or in the first one?
That's in the Tomoe book.
Oh.
It's a completely separate book.
It's a separate story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
separate story.
Okay.
Yeah. You were just flipped through Uzumaki.
Yeah.
That was its own thing.
She got a
was
got
the
like
more
a
famous
crash
one.
course
she got a
in like
20-minute crash
20
course
minutes.
of the entire manga.
It's a lot to digest.
Yeah, I was getting very lightheaded just looking at
I
the artwork. I mean, it's amazing,
Just a
but
testament to how good of an artist he is.
Yeah,
Because like
for
you look at
sure.
some of these things, you're like, wow, that's detailed.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of detail in it. It really, really captures the essence of fear.
Yeah.
You really see their like dread and like
And not only-
what they're going through. You know.
Yeah. And not only fear, but like the feeling of being very uneasy
Yeah.
when you're watching it. Like you want to look away, but you can't. You know, it's just very captivating because you need to know what happens, but like you're just, it's very unsettling to watch.
There were actually points, and I've like you guys know, I've read the entirety of the manga multiple times. There were still times that I was like lowering my laptop screen because I knew it was coming, and I knew that I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I watched the whole thing. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, because I didn't want to miss anything. But there were definitely moments, specifically with the pregnant women, where I was just like, oh,
That and the mom. The mom takes
Yeah.
a lot out of it too.
the mom was a lot. I think the worst thing though, I don't know.
I
A lot
couldn't
of it was
handle the
bad.
snail people, like watching
Strange.
their eyes grow out of their head.
Can I tell you the one thing that I actually had to like close my laptop screen for was the mom cutting off her fingertips.
Yeah, that one's
Ooh, that
that one's
is
a
so
big
That's the
graphic.
one thing that I really can't do.
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't show her doing the ears.
And they don't. They act. That's actually, interestingly enough, directly from the manga.
Oh, that's good.
They show her right before she's about to stab it, and then like the next.
Thank
the
goodness.
literal next page is like she's dead.
Wrapped up in
Oh.
bandages, yeah.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
anime, her being wrapped up in bandages
so
is what
they're-
finally kills her
she's got the vertigo.
Yeah, because she's spiraling out.
Yeah, so because when she stabbed herself in the ears, your
You lose-
inner
you lose all your
ear
balance.
gives you your balance. So she had such bad vertigo, and then she dies after that.
Damn.
So it pretty much shows her like about to stab herself in the ear. Then you see her wrapped in bandages, and then you flip the page, and it shows her ashes spiraled in the sky.
Yeah.
Because the way that the anime presented it, I definitely got the vibe that like her being spiraled in bandages, they just like killed her within them or something like that. I didn't think it was like the vertigo, but I mean that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, it pretty much just said like the spirals took her over, and she died.
Yeah. I think the worst like feeling overall was when they started like eating the snail people.
When they crawl, when they
No,
crawl,
when
when they
the
crawl into
dude
the shell.
So it started with they were cooking them because like all
So
of the other
for-
food was gone.
For context,
Like,
this
yeah, the
is
French
after.
do. We'll try it too.
For context, this is after the town is completely destroyed.
By like multiple typhoons.
There's
and
been
storms.
like 8 typhoons that have hit the town, and the
multiple
only thing that's
tornadoes.
left
So
is
those
like
snails are the last resort.
so
Yeah, it's like
they're
all they
they
got.
start cooking the snail people because they're like they're not people anymore, and there's no food or resources left. All the people that come for help are either dying before they get to the town or getting stuck and essentially eating up the resources themselves.
because you can't escape the town. Like, and you when you get to the furthest edges of the path that lead out, they all connect. So
And they
you're
come
just
back.
walking in circles.
Or you get sucked in.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
like ships from the Navy like showed up to try to save them, and a gigantic whirlpool formed in the ocean, and they all drown. Like all the ships like instantly gone.
Which was so obvious when they were like, "Oh, help is coming! Help!"
I'm
I
like,
was like,
these guys are
"No,
fucked."
they're in the water."
Yeah.
Like
And
we've
because
seen
we-
a small
we already-
raft get swallowed.
Right.
That
These
Navy's
ships are
gone.
going down.
Yeah, they're going down hard.
But yeah, so they kind of resort to eating the snail people. And at one point, when they're trying to escape, they have this guy who's slowly turning into a snail. And they're like, we have him pretty much as our food source while
gonna
we're
eat
traveling.
him.
We're going to eat him. But
Yeah.
they're traveling. So, like, well, we're just going to eat him raw this time.
Oh,
and they
no.
and these snails are human size. So they
Yeah, they're
crawl
gigantic.
into the shell to like eat them raw. And they're talking about like, I was eating his face.
It was so yummy.
His
Yeah,
soft,
soft,
cheeks
sweet.
and stuff
His
like
sweet
that.
face.
But like so it didn't start out like that. It was like this gang of guys that were controlling the tornadoes to like break down buildings and like hunt for things, and then
It was so
they,
weird.
the party of people that
Which is
you're
actu-
following, they
yeah.
discovered them, the gang,
Yeah,
eating
eating-
the snails, and they were like, oh, maybe this is such a bad idea. You know, we don't really have any other food. And then they tried it once, and then they just like slowly became obsessed with it, and they started craving it. And then
Yeah.
they ate one raw, and they're like, "Oh my god, you know, this guy that we've got with us, you know, his days are fucking numbered because we're gonna eat him
Yeah.
as soon as he turns." And then he's like starting to transform, and the rest of them are just like salivating at the mouth, waiting for him to finish.
Right.
Yeah, I can't
And then-
imagine that because like snails seem like so mucusy, like what is it,
Yeah.
oysters and stuff. I
Yeah,
can't-
but their brains
Giant
are also
escargot.
their
Yeah.
brains are also poisoned by the spiral, so that they're just like becoming
whatever
obsessed, you know. And the one guy in particular, so the snail transforms. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna eat him," and he gets scared, so he goes into his shell, right?
Yeah.
And the one guy who's like mainly talking about eating them, he's like, "I've seen wild animals and bugs do this. Watch this," and he crawls into his shell, like Mac was saying,
And then
just
his friends
eats
are
him
like,
from the inside.
his friends are like, oh wait,
Oh,
no,
shit.
and
Save
they
some
don't
for us.
Save some for us, and like pull them out. And that's when Kyrie and Suichi are like, let's run.
We gotta go
Because
because
his-
Kyrie's
his
brother's
brothers-
also turning into a snail.
and they don't want him to get eaten.
Yeah, and so they like run away. They get to the
And-
edge of a cliff, and they're like, "You gotta leave."
And it's so bad that when they deny him getting eaten, when the brother does actually turn into a snail, that the people just literally their bodies
They
just
spiral
spiral
out of
out of control and just literally like start
contort?
looping.
No, they like noodle spiral
Like,
out.
yeah.
So like their
literally, like,
arms
turn-
spiral.
What?
They like extend
they-
out into
yeah.
like it's crazy.
That sounds pretty crazy. So just like working
Yeah,
all that.
no,
Yeah.
quite
What the
literally.
fuck?
And it's confirmed because of other people dying earlier in the show that when that happens, they're breaking every bone in their body to force themselves to spiral.
Yeah.
So like as they're wiggling out, it's like it looks smooth and like
That's what
almost
the main
like
character's
rubber,
dad
but
did.
Yeah.
they're
To
actually
To fit
breaking
himself in
bones.
that basin, he broke every bone in his body to force himself to fit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They did
Get him
that
in the
shot
circus.
justice, let me tell you.
Yeah, they really did. So I'm just curious, like, how did you guys feel about the flow of the story? Because I have opinions.
It was whiplash after whiplash after whiplash. Only because like it felt like all of these episodes, their stories weren't necessarily connected because we didn't get a lot of the links of going from here to there. It was just like they started the next episode and you see Kyrie, right? But she looks so different every episode that it's hard to recognize and remember that this is your essentially
Yeah.
main character that you're following, which is like Kyrie, Shuichi, her boyfriend. Like he looks pretty much the same the entire time.
Yeah.
She looks very different every fucking episode, I swear. Like it's very jarring and difficult to keep up with who these characters are.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
And-
There's no time to rest in between like the
Yeah,
episodes
because it's
and
just
stuff.
like bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam. But I liked it.
So-
it's just a little quick.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go into my little rant.
Bring it.
Just because I just curious
Mac
about how you
took
guys.
notes.
I took notes.
Yay.
As a manga reader of many Junji Ito things,
Love Junji.
I
He's
had-
also like the nicest guy ever.
yeah,
He's
I
all
have
sunshine
some
and
notes.
rainbows.
I'll let you guys read the end notes and stuff. There's also an extra chapter in the deluxe version.
Oh wow.
That's just like a little thing, and then he did an end note kind of like afterward that he animated of himself.
Oh, I love that.
So I'll let you guys kind of take a look at that
Heck yeah.
after we're done today. So I'll start with my likes overall. I thought it was a very, very, very good adaptation with pretty much being the things you see are pretty much manga panels just brought to life.
Yeah.
They really
definitely got that
they
vibe.
really are a true adaptation of the different chapters that you're seeing. The animation style worked really well. I liked that they kept that black and white because they were able to take like I'll let you guys flip through it just so you can see like even just the style down to like the spiraling in the bathtub, him plopping down. That's like when I saw that scene, I was like, that's straight out of the manga.
Yeah. And like even the way that they drew the forest in the
Yeah.
anime, I was like, holy shit.
Or like the
Yeah.
way that
everything is a spiral. The leaves,
the
the
way
grass,
that yeah,
the flowers,
and
everything.
that's straight out of the manga. The
And honestly,
way
I
that
feel
town
you'd
looked.
lose that. I feel you'd lose that detail if you were to color. So it is a good thing you did
I
it
mean
with
there
black
are
and white.
and like there's a couple of pages in there, like the deluxe version, that do have color, so you can kind of get an idea of what things were looking like. But I liked that they took the liberty of doing it entirely in black and white. I think that kind of kept the trueness of the manga
It
to
also
it.
adds a vibe, you know?
Yeah, I
Like,
think it made it feel more. It kind of kept that macabre feel to it, as opposed to if you watch like Maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Maniac can lose it at certain moments and then they just like reel you right back in with like the big finish of the episode. But like this, it just keeps the tone the
Yeah.
whole time.
Steady flow.
So like even if they're just walking, you're like, what's happening? Like what's gonna happen next?
On edge the entire time.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, we have a 600-page manga that we're looking at that's getting adapted into
4 episodes.
4 episodes. So
Less than an hour's of content.
they did.
It's more than an
They're
hour.
25 minutes an episode about.
Yeah, so it's like an hour and a half.
hour and a half.
It's like a movie.
yeah.
So with that, they did cut some things down. A lot of the things that they cut down weren't really like things that were
Quintessential.
necessary. There were a couple of little things here and there that like it made things feel a little bit weird sometimes. So like with the hair scene, there's that entire chapter starts with a girl killing herself.
Oh, dang.
And they're like, the girl who has the black hair was like, she just wants attention. She's an attention seeker. Like the people that are becoming like these obsessive types of people, they just want attention. And so the hair being the thing where she starts saying, oh, well, you're just trying to get attention. I'm going to get the attention now. It kind of loses that attention. Like you lose that detail.
Because in the anime, I'm
you're
like,
a little confused
why do you want
why
all this
she
attention?
cares.
Like, what is
What's
you
your problem?
just showed up like in this
There wasn't the
anime.
connection
Like
to
I don't even know
introduce
who
her.
you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that definitely makes a lot more sense.
And then I was talking to Maddie about this, but I have one thing that it was my biggest gripe with the entire thing overall. And it was the way that they stretched out the story with the mom.
She didn't die till like episode 3.
Yes. So when you look at the Uzumaki manga, all of the stories that you're seeing in the anime are kind of overlapping with each other, right? Mm-hmm. In the manga, they're each a separate chapter.
Maybe
So each
that's
of
why they
those
took
story-
so long.
So each of those storylines is a separate chapter. So
Fully
like,
fleshed out.
so chapter 1, you see Soichi's dad, and you get his story. The very next chapter is the entirety of his mom going insane.
Maybe they stretched it out because she's more of a vital character to his like mental break and his downfall.
So,
I could
but
see
the
that.
way that the one thing that it did is it ruins the spiral scar story. Because when you're reading the spiral scar, that comes immediately after the chapter where his mom dies. Why is he so consumed with the fear of this girl being a spiral? Because at this point, it's completely orphaned him.
Yeah.
And it's isolated him. When you just have it being that his dad's gone and his mom's kind
Like
of going
in the
off the
hospital now,
handle,
and he's
it
also
doesn't-
seeing them everywhere.
It doesn't hold the same type of weight as when she had already died.
Fair.
So personally, for me, I hated that they just like draw it out so far because I was
Yeah.
watching it and I'm like I just thought
Is
they were
she gonna die?
at that point. I thought they had just skipped that story at all
Oh
overall.
wow.
Because
I mean, yeah.
they kind of don't bring it up until like
The
another
pacing is a little
episode and a
weird,
half
too.
later.
Because like you never really
Yeah.
know when a character is finished until they're very obviously finished.
Yeah.
You know?
So like I wish that they would have kind of I didn't mind as much that they overlapped the stories. I just wish that they would have kept that order there a little bit more.
For sure.
Even if they were introducing the girl with the scar, if they had introduced her when they did, that was fine. But having him meet her and her becoming obsessed with him after he loses his mom, I feel like it took some of the weight of the story out of there.
Yeah.
Referring back
My personal biggest gripe with the anime is it's a little nerdy, and it's the fact that when Azami is consumed by her spiral, that she doesn't turn into a black hole. That irritated me.
You did say that earlier
Because
whenever I was
because
getting my crash course.
That's
You were like,
exactly what a
"This."
black hole is.
Yeah.
Like it's just matter folding in upon itself infinitely until it isn't
Yeah.
there anymore.
I also have another little note, and this was a kind of like little gripe because they made a point to they took out the first part of it, but they left the second part of it with another thing. In the opening of the manga, the like cold open of the manga, and she's talking about the town, she actually sees his dad crouched in a corner, transfixed on a snail shell before she goes and picks him up.
That's where it started.
And then at the end of the episode, you see that snail shell, but they don't explain why they're showing you this snail shell.
Yeah,
it's
I
because
noticed
the
the snail
dad
shell.
was transfixed on that snail shell.
Oh.
So I was like, I thought that was just kind of a weird choice not to
Just
have that in there.
confusing.
Because if they were gonna put the snail shell at the end of the story, like the end
Give
of
the
the like
context, at
episode,
least.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
it just felt out of place without having like the dad there.
Yep.
So we did the snail shells. Like that's what started the entire spiral.
That's when it kind of first
That's
so
when his obsession
the
first started.
dad was kind of the big
Okay.
obsession that started in the town.
It started with like 5 whirlpools in the creek.
Yeah.
And then this guy became very obsessed with spirals after seeing them. And then it just spiraled from there.
I guess
Yeah.
you could argue that his death was like a form of sacrifice to kickstart the curse.
Yeah.
Because like he literally broke every bone in his body, spiraling himself into this basin in this like disfigured form. So like you could argue that that's a form of human sacrifice,
Just to
Yeah.
get it all started.
just
huh?
to start the ritual. I guess because by the end they do say that like this is a curse that could be happening over and over and over again.
Yeah, so that's the important thing to look at is because there's these row houses that are in the town, and these seem to be the only places that aren't getting taken out by like all the typhoons. They're still standing. They're the only thing in the town that is not fallen apart. And this is once the typhoon wipes out the town, all of the townspeople are cramming themselves into these row houses. So they're like essentially living on top of each other body wise.
Just trying to survive. and all that.
It eventually gets very
It
bad.
gets so crowded that their bodies start twisting together and binding like
Oh,
they
it's
get
fine forever.
spiraled together.
Yeah. And they become like one entangled organism.
And
Just a,
Yeah.
what's it called?
yeah,
Hive
and so what they do
No,
to
it's
make
not
more
even a
room.
hive mind. They're just like they're a bunch
Yeah.
of individual people that have essentially just tangled their bodies into one another because there's so many of them crammed into these like 10 houses of this giant
Yeah.
city.
So they can't move. Like they didn't.
No, they
morph
literally
They
are
move as
like
one
like
They do
they're
move
like
as one.
getting
Yeah.
like twisted together like
because they're like fighting against each other
Yeah.
to go in specific directions. But they're like a house-sized amalgamate monster.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they keep saying like people keep trying to come in and they're like we're too full, everything is too full, and then they end up knocking down one like part of a wall and it like partially spills out, and you see all these bodies are like quite literally spiraling and entangled into each other.
And they're just like spilling out of the side of the house. And then you see a bunch of arms grabbing like scrap pieces of wood here and there to like build around the expanding body.
So what they
try to
end up
self-contain.
doing to make more room is they start extending the sides of the row houses. But when they do that, the entire edges of the row houses seem to line up that they turn the entire town into just one singular row house that's in a spiral.
And it's the size
can-
of the entire town.
It just goes.
And
in
it
a spiral,
overtakes the entire
continues.
town. And this happens when they're trying to escape in the mountains because not only is the spiral affecting like people physically and mentally, it's affecting time itself. It's spiraling time. So while they're building down there, the people who are out on the edge trying to escape,
They're just walking in the forest.
Like years go by while
years
they're in
go
the
by
forest.
and they haven't aged while they're in the forest. So when they go back
Yeah.
into town, 10 years has passed and the
They're still the same
spiral's
age.
finished, but they've only been walking for a day.
Like when they left, there was
That's
like
crazy.
6 to maybe 10 houses, just like row houses scattered throughout the town. When they came back, the entire town was one spiraled house.
Which he did say as they were leaving. He said, I'll have this
house
finished by the time you get back.
Yep.
Yeah, he finished it then, huh?
It just took 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And when they come back, that guy is like still walking around. He's got a full beard. It's like, you guys haven't aged a day. That's crazy. It's been years.
And they're like, it's been
It's,
years.
it's almost done though, you know? And then when everything finally like connects,
Yeah.
like the curse is finished. But that's like at the very, very end.
Yeah. So,
After so the reason they go back is because the main character, Kyrie,
yes.
she is searching for her parents. And
Okay.
she believes that her parents are in the center of the town.
Because that's where the pond was.
And that's where they were last seen because her father, the potter, he's been dredging up clay from the pond to make his own pottery. And that's
Okay.
why
Into
his pottery
spirals.
looks so fucked up because
'Cause
it's
they-
also got like the souls of other people in it.
Yeah.
So,
Shit.
like,
But it's got a crazy mind
and
in a good way.
I think it's interesting how the entire thing centers around these two characters that seem to be the only two who aren't truly affected by the spiral.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's got insanity based off of the spiral.
Anybody
and
would.
She gets the thing with like her hair.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I can't believe that didn't kill her.
They're the
'Cause he cut it off.
Yeah.
I just like how in the episode the one girl's like, "Well, guess what? I can get that hair too." Fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
And it ended up
Why would you
killing her.
want that?
If you pay attention in the story,
Yeah.
this spiral curse keeps trying to target the two of them, and they keep evading it.
Yep.
Everything that the spiral does, they evade. So like her hair, they managed to work around it. The like Jack in the Box boy.
They dodged it. And
They
he
dodge
ended up killing
it,
himself.
like-
well, becoming immobile, basically.
Yeah.
Because the spring popped out of him.
So like Kyrie specifically, she keeps dodging this curse.
How do people get chosen to become snails? That's like my big question.
Yeah, that
How
was.
They're
much
moving
they
too
hate
slow.
salt.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
moving
they're
too
moving
slow.
too
They're
slow.
moving too slow.
Because
Okay.
it started with that one guy who was always late
Always
to
late
class,
to class,
always
yeah.
very slow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you're moving like a snail, you turn into a snail.
So that's
Oh,
what.
fuck, I'm
So
doomed.
they kind of breeze through it in the manga, but Soichi does explain it. It's
okay.
the people are moving so slow that the spiral is catching them.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And the main characters are pretty much running the entire show.
Yes.
They're running away as fast as they can, or as fast as they're allowed to in that moment.
So it seems to be like it's almost like mainly he's immune to the curse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just driving him
Insane.
mad, and she's only ever escaping it when he's there.
I see.
Because like he's
Well,
the one who
that's true.
she keeps
Well,
trying
she
to
got
cut
away from the lighthouse without him, but barely.
barely.
Yeah.
But like when she tries to cut her hair,
It wouldn't let
it
her.
wouldn't let
It
her,
almost
but
killed
he
her.
could cut it off.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So like especially when you see things of like them together or her with somebody else is when she tends to be safe. But like they don't get consumed by the spiral when the
And
girl
the storm was looking for her too.
Yeah, the storm was looking for her. And the curse only ends when she finally accepts the spiral with him and they become one into the spiral.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was crazy.
Had they just done it from the beginning, then nobody would have died.
No, I
It
think
still
the
would've
curse still would have
taken the
taken
town.
its because the whole point of the curse is to return the town to its original shape.
Which is a spiral.
That spiral row house, yeah, that one gigantic house. Because
That's crazy.
so all of the row houses extended from both ends, and they just like linked up. And once the links were complete, there was like
They
this
made a
pillar
spiral.
in the middle of the typhoon where it used to be.
Yeah.
Because they eventually go into like this cave down in the bottom where
it
this
goes
like
down deep.
spiral, like
Ruins.
yeah, it was like ruins basically. It was built to look like a spiral, and eventually took on a mind of its own, had its own will,
And that was the curse.
that was taking over the town. It was trying to reclaim its own shape. And so once the town was like linked up and all of the walls were sealed and everything,
It actually they don't say it in the show. Once the walls get linked up, the second it's finished, the reason she sees her parents down there is because once that finishes, the curse sucks all the town people
yeah,
down.
like when it finished, you kind of heard,
But they
like,
don't
a slurping
acknowledge
sound.
it.
They didn't acknowledge it because like once they opened the
Yeah.
doors, everything was gone. Everything was empty. Because like once the walls were finished, you heard this like giant sucking whatever.
Yeah.
And then you
they-
do hear the townspeople say like, "Hey, they're all connected now."
Yeah.
And then there's just
and then they
they're
all just
empty.
like disappear, and they open a door and like it's all empty. So they end up going to the middle by just walking through the house because all of the people are gone and they're all in the bottom covering the floor. Like the floor is made out of people now, essentially.
It's a skin squishy floor.
And they're
But
and
they're
all
like
of the people are staring at the ruins.
I'm pretty sure it says in the manga that they've like kind of turned to stone though.
Oh, interesting.
Like they've like become part of the ruins.
So it's
Or like
not
they're
like a
starting
flesh
to.
floor,
No, it's not like a
stone.
completely squishy.
Yeah, it's
flesh
hard to
floor.
tell in the anime because it's all black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I did in fact read 600 pages in 2 days.
Yeah, because like when they were walking
knows?
around, it sounded like they were stepping on flesh.
Yeah, it was like
It'd be
they were
fun if
like
it was.
hardening
Yeah.
though.
God.
And you're just walking over noodles of arms. You see a face
mean,
here or there.
We see him fall.
Yeah, he
and
does trip.
He trips and he falls
Far.
a lot.
Yeah, I mean he falls like
Halfway down.
it's like a skyscraper building sized fall.
Man,
And he's fine.
Yeah, he's just fine. He gets up.
He's just tired.
Yeah.
it's just built different, man. That's all.
I have a question. Do you guys think the spiral is an analogy? Do you think it means or a metaphor? You think it means something?
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do a horror show, so I mean, I don't know what it is, but like it's definitely an analogy.
Thematic
It's
value is
gotta
definitely
be.
prevalent.
Hmm?
I said thematic value is definitely very prevalent.
Yeah.
Like everything seems to fit the theme.
Like I'm thinking like trends, like becoming obsessed with a specific trend and it just kind of overtakes an area, or
It spirals out of control from
We're just
there.
getting caught in loops in life.
Getting caught in cycles.
yeah.
Because I mean, the entire curse is a cycle that repeats itself.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
I don't know. I
definitely
just
do
feel
more
like it
research on
definitely
it.
has some kind of deeper meaning.
Where Junji saw a snail one day and he was like, I could work with that.
Yeah, true.
Snails are fucking weird.
Yeah, they are weird.
Yeah. I'm scared of snails.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of Uzumaki?
No.
No, just in general.
No.
They just look weird.
She just goes no because she knows.
I mean, snails are kind of creepy.
Did you have some
Little
bad
slimy.
incident with the snail?
No.
Oh,
Did you just pick up a shell and you're like, oh, this is cute, and then a snail popped out of it? You're like,
Mind you, I am terrified of any like bug or worm that is not a bee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you
Okay.
probably feel the same about slugs?
Yes.
I see.
interesting.
so
Interesting.
ants.
Worms, terrible.
I mean, worms
That's
are
so sad.
Worms don't even have a mouth.
They still freak me out, bro.
They have 5 hearts.
Do
freak
they
me out,
really?
You can
man.
cut a worm in half and it'll live.
Whoa.
It'll
and
become
both-
2 worms.
It'll
yeah.
become 2 worms. It'll heal into 2 different worms.
No, that's
And
a
both
crazy
worm is able
species.
to move independently. Now, where you slice, you got to be a little
Yeah.
precise if you
that's
want
fair.
5 worms from one.
I do want 5 worms for one. I got a lot of fishing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to keep them alive for a little while so they can grow back.
Oh
and
God.
still be worms instead
I
of just
couldn't-
pieces of a worm.
I couldn't imagine a Junji Ito worm one. No.
That one I don't know if I could.
He
do
could
it,
really
man.
run with that. You know what I mean?
That would be awful.
Like you lose an arm, it just starts growing a body. Just like a little baby body, gigantic adult-sized arm.
I was
Deadpool,
surprised.
but
Evil
backwards.
version of you.
On that note, though, I was surprised with how many bug references there were in Uzumaki. So, like, there was the snails were the obvious one.
Yeah.
And then they had
Are
the
snails a bug,
mosquitoes,
The centipede.
the centipede,
That was crazy.
and the butterfly and dragonflies.
Yeah, the butterfly gang.
I'm also terrified of butterflies.
What?
I mean,
Butterflies are
The
cute little
centipede is the
creatures that
one
just
bug.
flock around above.
I
each
can't
Centipede or
do-
millipede, you could rob
Butterflies
me
and
with one of those
moths
things.
are
I
so
could
cute.
never.
yeah,
I could
can't
rob
do.
you with a centipede.
Centipede,
That's
bro.
so easy.
Because that's the one, like, I am the resident, like, I don't kill bugs, but I will, like, take them outside. I am the person. Like,
Just, like,
Haley and
dangle
Mackenzie
it
will be
in
like,
front
there's
of
a
you.
spider,
Give
come
me
get it.
your money.
Yes, like, I would cry. You would be like, here, Allie, come look at this. And I'd be like, ugh. Be like, just take it. Just go away. Just take whatever
Just
you need.
throw your wallet.
You want it? Go get it.
Yeah. I'm glad we picked up on the John Mulaney joke. It's
I got
fantastic.
the voice helped.
Give me your money. Yes.
I was wearing my shirt from that this morning.
I love that. I love that. Have we seen any Maniac episodes?
No.
I've seen all of them.
No,
I've
but
seen
I
all of
was
them.
reading up on it. It was the one that I was reading up on. That
Yeah.
I was telling you about.
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
what I
one that
thought.
I was reading up on.
So I won't.
was
I won't
looking
blame you
them.
for not watching them. It's a hard show to binge.
Okay,
Maddie
yeah.
and I weren't able to binge it. And I've seen some horror.
I just got nervous
Yeah.
because she gave me warnings with Uzumaki, which is why I have not watched it because I have to watch it with her, so she
Yeah.
can be like,
Yeah.
okay, here, don't look.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch Uzumaki alone.
So I was debating
This is very-
on starting
very
Maniacs,
unsettling.
and I didn't because
So for context, we watched Maniac as they were coming out, like when they were going live. Loved it, thoroughly enjoyed it. Had to take breaks in between episodes.
Yeah.
And now for this pod, we were like, okay, let's rewatch it. And like we pulled up the list and we were like, okay, well, we want to skip episode 1. So we watched episode 2 and we were like, damn, that was worse, than like harder to watch than we remember. And then we were like, do we want to play the next one?
No.
No. And it's not that it wasn't good. Like they were
It's too
so
good.
well done,
It's too good.
but it's too good. Like
it does its job too
I don't
well.
want to experience that again.
Really makes
Yeah.
your skin crawl, huh?
Yeah.
So there's a couple
See, then
episodes in
there's-
particular that
Yeah.
really do it to me. So like Hair is one of them in particular.
The hair in the attic.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
mold.
The mold episode
Yeah.
is super bad. the episode we watched, the one with the mysterious tunnel where they're just like phasing through the floor. Oh, that one was crazy. So imagine you're just like Mirio, right? You can permeate through stuff, but it's not you. It's a bunch of ghosts pulling you into the floor, and you're dying cell by cell as you get pulled into this solid floor. And then they use your body to terrorize other people and drop you on top of them. And then if your body lands on top of that living person, they now sink through the floor. Like,
And
it's
if you leave the tunnel,
crazy.
you magically turn up in the tunnel again. You can't leave the tunnel.
Yeah,
So you're
every
just
time they
stuck
try
in
to
the
leave,
tunnel.
they just like blink and they blacked out, and now they're in the tunnel again. And they have no idea why.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a crazy episode.
And then the ice cream truck too. Just
ice
like
cream.
They made ice cream
Ice
scary?
yeah.
Yes.
No.
So I'll explain to you the episode, right? So it's this father and son who live in an apartment complex. They recently moved in. There's this ice cream truck with this like
Alright.
interesting looking guy. Not, I wouldn't say like looking bad or looking anything. He just looked bland, a little too generic.
Like he was hiding something. He had a look.
Yeah,
generic.
he has the look that he's hiding something, right?
Okay.
But he smiles at the children and is stone faced when looking at an adult.
For context, I think this is a perfect analogy of like what his facial expression was. You've seen Naruto.
Yeah.
You remember when they first introduced Sai and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna do some evil stuff."
Yeah.
And then he turns out that he doesn't. It's like that emotion of just like
Just the blank.
what am I doing?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
am I doing?
Yeah.
Straight face, nothing at all.
Yep.
And so this ice cream guy, he has an ice cream truck, and so he
This is what he looks like.
takes
Let me see.
the children
Maybe I don't have my glasses on.
on
my
like
phone.
these
Oh, I get what you mean.
adventures to basically just go like sightseeing and have ice cream and stuff like that. And at first, the father doesn't let the kid go because he's a little nervous about it. He just got here. This guy's a little creepy looking. What the fuck? And so the son throws like a big tantrum, and he's like, I wish I was with my mom and stuff like that, not with you. And so the next weekend shows up, and the ice cream guy comes back, and the dad feels guilted into allowing his son to go. And so he lets his son go on the ice cream adventure in the ice cream truck. And he comes back and he's like, "Oh my God, that was so fun! The ice cream was so good. I want to go again.
There
I
was
never
a
wanna
mountain
leave."
of ice cream in the truck.
There was a mountain of ice cream. We were all licking it, and Dad was like, "What? The
Yeah,
fuck?
that's
What?
sus
That's
as fuck."
that's weird." And so next weekend rolls around.
Yeah.
Can I join?
Kid goes again, and so the adult dad is like, "Hey, I'd like to, go with the kids to make sure everything's all right." And he's like, "No adults allowed.
What? No, dude. No. We're
No
coming.
adults allowed."
Adults
Which
are
I mean,
coming.
okay.
and then the
so
dad
hear
just
me out.
accepts that.
Hear-
He's like,
well-
"Okay, that's
well,
fine. Have a
hear
good
me
day,
out.
kiddo."
If
No.
you're running a business where you have exclusively children, you wouldn't want to just allow a random parent to go with you because you don't have all of his kids. Like this one random parent could be a weirdo. So like realistically, you could explain that away. You're like,
I
I'm
just-
sorry, this service
realistically,
is
most parents would be like, "No, wait, I can't come. Never mind."
also fair. Also fair. But I feel like realistically, you wouldn't just like let a random adult go into like an exclusively children's. Like imagine
Yeah.
going to a McDonald's play place and then seeing a grown man climbing through the jungle gym. Like, you know what I mean? That would be
I've
a
seen a
little
few.
odd.
Or like the Disney cruise, they have like that
the kid only
the
zone.
kid club.
Yeah, and you've just got like 12
you
adults in
just
there
have
standing around.
this old guy just like in the middle of the dance floor at the kid club.
Yeah,
But like,
it's-
that's the thing though. The adult is still standing around close by, and that's just like the thing. It's just like how
you gotta have
how
a
did the
chaperone.
other that were just like, yeah, okay, Jimmy, go on. You go on this little ride with the ice cream man. Get your cream on.
Yeah, Sally, go fuck off with the ice cream man. I got stuff to do.
Yeah,
That's fine with me.
yeah. That's fair. There are parents like that.
But as he's coming back from like these ice cream adventures, he's got friends now. They all come over, they all hang out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so the dad's like accepting of it. He's like, okay, he's getting friends. We just moved here. This is fine. And then he gets rejected for going with the kids. And so now he's like super sus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, the kids come back, they're playing. The dad gets back from work. He's like, hey, I forget the son's name. I think it's like Tamaki or something like that.
Yeah.
He comes into the room and his son is eating puddles of ice cream of the other kids on the floor.
Yeah,
the kids
they're
have
melting.
become ice cream.
Whoa.
And he's like, this person is vanilla, this person is chocolate, and this person is
And they're
strawberry.
all so
And they're
delicious,
all
Dad.
so delicious.
And then-
and his son is slowly melting into ice cream as well. And he's like, I wonder what flavor I will be.
And he goes, stop eating them, and he won't.
And he like tries to push him off of the pile of ice cream, and his head just right
turns.
off
Whoa.
because he's ice cream. It just pops right off because he pushes his chest back to like move him back, and his head just right off.
Because he's all ice cream now. It's all
Yup.
melted off.
And then at the very end, they just show the ice cream truck driving away. Ice cream,
That
ice
creepy
cream.
motherfucker.
And then it comes back like in later episodes. So I'm sure like in the manga, it's a longer story. But just the idea of that, I don't like.
Well,
Yeah.
I just like the idea that someone turned to vanilla. That means they born as shit.
something to point out too with something like Maniac, most of Junji Ito's stories aren't something like these.
600 pages. Yeah.
Almost most of them are short stories that are just going to be about a chapter long.
Oh, just one chapter. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them are like little short stories. Like if you go to
Like little horror comics.
yeah, if you were to like go to like Books a Million, and go into the manga section and go to the Junji Ito section, if you pull one of them, most of them are gonna be they'll like advertise like the first one that comes to mind is like Frankenstein and other stories.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are gonna be like a shorter like thing. They're not gonna be something like, Tomi or
Something is fleshed out like
Uzumaki where
those,
it's
yeah.
gonna be those full. So like Tomi, Uzumaki, and Gyo are all big things that got put into like a deluxe version. But
Yeah.
like most of the other, some of them are gonna be like
The stories that can go further, basically.
yeah. There's a lot of ones that are just like shorter stories.
Yeah.
So would
It
his be
seem-
a collection with others, then you're saying?
Yeah, so a lot of them are sold as like a
Like a
collection
compilation,
volume.
collection. Yeah.
Okay.
But then Maniac is episode by episode. Every episode is different. It's a
Or
different
multiple
story.
stories.
But then some of those stories, not all of them, but some of them come back and they have like a second part. So I feel like some of them are probably like 5 to 10 chapters.
Yeah,
That's why
so
we
And they
skipped
just take
episode 1. Because
pieces.
episode 1, that family comes back in a later episode where stuff actually happens. I feel like episode 1's just like really slow.
is that the one with the weird brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one that, like, chews on
so
nails.
he has his own
Yeah.
like
yeah, that's why
entire
they
set
come
of-
back.
He has his
Oh.
own entire own set of stories.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's the same brother where his
So he
older
has, like,
brother was in
3
that box in the box.
They
in the
have
box,
like
in the
3
box.
I remember
episodes
that.
of him.
Yeah.
I don't like him. That was another reason I didn't want to rewatch all
Yeah,
of it.
he's probably one of my least favorites when
Yeah.
it comes to Junji Ito. I've never really been drawn to his stories.
Yeah.
And it's not that it didn't draw me. It was just like it was uncomfortable.
freaky.
Yeah, it freaks me out, and at the same time, I get a little bit. Some of them I get a little bit bored with those ones.
Yeah.
I can see
that
that, yeah.
family in particular. I'm like, all right. Yeah,
You're like,
that's
okay, they're just kind of weird.
My favorite Maniac episode is the balloon episode. Where,
Oh, that's a classic episode.
yeah.
Somebody turn into a balloon or something, or
So,
Everybody.
This one I'll also explain to you. So they don't necessarily like directly say, but I'll say they're basically all in purgatory. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so nobody knows that they're in purgatory, obviously, because like the theory is when you die, you don't know that you die and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
like how most ghosts end up haunting places because they don't really fully realize they're dead. But they're just like in a city, in a town, and then like these gigantic balloons from far away show up and they're just like slowly approaching the city. And then as they get closer, you realize these balloons are giant heads of people that live in the city.
oh shit,
And each balloon head is finding their person, and the string that's attached to the balloon is a noose. And so the balloon finds you and hangs you and floats away with you.
You can't pop these balloons, huh?
Nope. Nope.
of-
And so the entire story in the entire episode is these people running away from their balloons, but only to eventually be caught and snagged and just like drug away by these balloons. And that's basically you exiting purgatory
Yep.
to go to your deemed destination.
Your final last.
You're being
stop of
selected
afterlife.
by your
That was-
own soul, essentially.
That was
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorites. And
Yeah. I saw
That's
a Junji
spooky.
Ito drawing of him doing it in like a more modern style, and the heads are on drones.
Yeah.
That was
They're
crazy.
drone heads.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they've got like the 4
Yeah.
propellers, the noose still. I was like, this is nice.
My personal favorite Maniac episode, I don't think is going to be a surprise to anybody if we look at the table.
Is it Tomy?
It is the Tomy episode.
Yeah.
Even though that's not my favorite chapter of Tomy, it is one of the ones that I do enjoy a lot.
Remind me of how that episode goes.
So that specific episode is the photo episode. So what it is like when they see Tomy, she looks normal. But when you take the pictures of her,
she looks super fucked up.
looks all weird, and like it's because the way that like she is, she's like splitting off from herself.
Right.
Like she's almost like a single cell organism.
So all of her cells are her. Just an
Yes.
amalgam that takes shape.
And the
Yes.
photo just shows that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, Tommy's really good. I hope
That's
that
a
they do
synopsis of
more
it.
and like give her her own like Uzumaki.
Yeah, that would be like great for me.
I think she's becoming a lot more popular. Like I'm seeing more merch of her and
Yeah.
stuff like that with Maniac, Junji Ito.
I was gonna say, I feel like her and Uzumaki, I feel like are the two most like popular stories that I tend to hear about.
Yes, I remember this episode.
Are
This
there any
episode
other
was
episodes from
crazy.
Maniac that you guys recommend that I am like for sure this is a need to watch?
Let me take a look.
I
I will
have the
say
list up on my phone.
I think that the tunnel episode, while it is rough to watch, is very, very good. Just like visually and how it's written is
And the
really
pacing
good.
of that episode is very good too. Because all the big stuff happens towards the end.
My favorite one is when the girl's like dancing from the chair and she's like, it's a maniac. She pulls the chain and the water comes as. It's a good show.
Oh yeah, I think that's everyone's favorite episode. Especially when
I know
Deadpool
the
does it.
mold one is really creepy, but the mold one is very
That one's
good.
crazy.
Yeah.
Are there any episodes in Maniac that would make me uncomfy the way that Uzumaki does?
I feel like there are a couple, for sure.
Yeah,
Tomy might make you feel that way.
yeah, Tomy might a little bit.
Yeah.
so save that episode for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
There are multiple.
Toontown is my favorite episode.
Yeah.
That one was crazy.
Which one was that one?
The like tombs are popping up all over town.
Oh yeah, and they're growing out of the bodies.
Yeah, they're growing out of the bodies, and so then they have the bodies in the back of their trunk, and I'm like, oh my god, the trunk is gonna turn into gravestones. That one was crazy.
Yeah.
And
So,
like,
if somebody died, their body just like fell over, and a tombstone would grow out of them.
yeah,
That's crazy.
And like when you first come to this town, they're everywhere,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they just start popping up, like
And
in
like
the
there's
middle
an
of the
illness
street.
going around, so more people are dying, and stuff like
You'd
that.
just be like walking down the street, and then suddenly there's a tombstone in the middle of the road. And you're like, how did this get here? Somebody
they're
died
like-
right there.
they're like trying to like walk or drive through, and like there's these tombstones. They're like, why are there just a tombstone in the middle of the road?
And you have to like quickly move the body. So if somebody dies, you have to like get
You have
them
to
into an
move them
okay
in minutes.
location.
Yeah,
Secondary location.
you ain't give me no secondary location.
You can take me whatever secondary location you'd like, as long as there's snacks.
Yep.
That's not very
fair.
street smarts of you.
Ah, I got snack smarts.
Damn straight, dude. You gotta have snacks.
Yeah. Nobody wants to kidnap me. That'd be a very unpleasant time for everybody involved.
You think they'd bring you back?
Either that, or we would maybe become friends. Or
They'd
it
be
would
so
turn
mad at
into
you.
a murder-suicide situation.
If you came home with a new friend and the story began with they kidnapped me, I'd be so mad.
More
Noted.
Asher
Wait,
lore.
what?
Noted. Yeah, more Asher lore indeed. Like, hey, this is my best friend of 6 years. Oh, how'd you guys meet? He put me in his trunk, drove away. I just like kicked down the back seat and was like, bro, what's
Let's
your
talk
damage?
about this.
Like, what's going on? You can talk to me, you know?
Do we need to get you therapy? We can get you therapy. We could be great friends.
Did your mother not love you enough? Talk about
Asher's
that.
gonna just start psychoanalyzing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asher's gonna
okay.
convince them that he kidnapped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually my car, bro.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit.
She's like, wait a minute. It's like, I'm really glad. Hey, can you take a left here? They're going to be waiting for us around the corner. And like, who's going to be waiting for us? Your
Them.
boss. You know, the people that told you to get me. Nobody told me to get me. No. You think it's your idea, but actually, we've been planting the seed for months now.
Nah, you did some Inception shit, huh?
Yeah, you got to.
This is your initiation.
Yeah. If you take me to the rendezvous spot, you're in the gang. Come on. You don't remember initiation? Oh, no, that's right. We wiped that from your memory.
No, I remember. I'm going right now.
Yes. Okay, so we covered our favorite episodes of Maniac. What was the scariest episode of Maniac?
The mold.
Mold was pretty bad.
Or the
Yeah.
hair.
Mold
the
or
mold
hair?
or the hair.
Yeah.
Can't
Keep
handle
talking
either
about
of
the
those.
mold. I need like
The mold.
Let me see if I can find a screen.
The mold consumes
yeah.
all.
Does the mold move around, or is it just it spreads?
It spreads
Okay.
to everything.
So every time I heard you guys mention the mold, I just thought from like Cowboy Bebop when they had the little mold from the kebabs and stuff. You know, it was all like swirling around and stuff.
Not quite like that. It just
No.
spreads really quickly
Okay.
to the entirety of the inside of a house. And I'm talking like the walls, the
Like
floor,
consumes
the
the
Everything
house.
is just all
people,
moldy.
the people inside the house become consumed with mold.
You know what they should have done is made penicillin.
Yeah.
They would have made a fortune.
They needed some Lysol in that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, especially with me being like a little bit of a neat freak,
They really got you on that
hated
joke.
that episode so much.
Like,
I
why
think
aren't they cleaning?
that
Why
was-
aren't they cleaning?
that was one of the it wasn't that why aren't they cleaning? Why is he still living there?
yeah, you just
Like, because
left.
he like lived
burn the whole thing
alone.
down.
His whole family was like gone. And he was like, "Oh, this mold is spreading. It's like driving." It's like, bro, move.
Yeah, you have no obligation to stay in that house.
Literally, it's not even your house.
Yeah.
Like it was your family's house. Go somewhere else. And he's like, "No, I can't leave." It's like, but you can leave. You know, you have 2 feet for now. I need you to put them in front of
now.
one another and continue until you are gone,
The
Allegedly.
memories. The
Allegedly.
memories.
consumed by the mold.
Our favorite word, Asher, allegedly.
Allegedly, indeed. Everything is allegedly.
When me and Asher talk, you know, this thing happened. Allegedly.
You can't prove it. But I can, allegedly.
Allegedly.
You can allegedly
you
prove it.
can prove it.
What was the worst episode for you, Mac? Because you liked mold.
I did like mold. It freaked me out. I liked it.
Yeah.
Worst episode isn't like scariest.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that made you like
most
either,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, either like turned it off for the day. You're like, you know what? That's enough for today. Or you were like, I need a minute before I watch the next one.
You're gonna think I'm crazy because I binged the entire thing.
Yeah, you
Oh
didn't feel that
my
way?
god, we couldn't do it. There were like once we watched like Hair, we were like, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I
no.
think we're good because we watch it before like we go to bed, and so
Yeah.
we would like watch that and then like maybe watch a filler thing before actually going to sleep because like we work until like late in the night, so like we get home, we make food. It's oh god, it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock already. Might as well watch this because we've been watching this, and then we're like, yeah. We're done.
Alex and I watched it maybe over a span of 2 or 3 days.
That's crazy.
Oh my god. Okay, well, what one made you the most uneasy?
Probably the tunnel.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
crazy.
Just-
like when his little sister or little brother or the younger sibling starts phasing through the
Yeah.
doctor and it's like, help me. I'm like, oh my god.
Like I
Because
don't know.
she's literally like cradling this child because they're all like so terrified of this tunnel coming after them. And so like just out of nowhere, the child starts phasing through her into the wall behind her and like actively perishing as they phase into the wall. And there's nothing anybody can do because they're like reaching and it's just gone. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's crazy.
I don't know if it's like just me, but I feel like I definitely remember as a kid having like nightmares that you just like sink into your bed and into the floor and then
Quicksand.
you're gone. Like I've definitely had those like thoughts or dreams.
Oh no, my nightmares were that a witch was throwing me down a well.
I had witch nightmares all the time. Very similar, but it was a cauldron.
Either that or an alien was zapping me.
An alien. Was it a gray?
I don't know.
The
Grays
grays
have like big heads.
No,
big,
I'm just
buggy
saying I
black
don't
eyes.
remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
My nightmares were
I know what a gray is.
very different from that. Most of my nightmares were my mother attempting sewer slide. Yeah.
the TikTok language.
I mean, it's gonna get posted to YouTube. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
My nightmares became reality Disappointment.
Oh no!
Starting to go a little Heath Ledger on us there, brother. It's the makeup. It's cursed. It's a cursed role. Okay, well, yeah, I would agree. The tunnel episode is definitely one of those ones where it's just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And then like the bodies are like half permeated into the ceiling and drugged
Yeah.
over them and just like dangling on top of them to be. Oh, man.
Awful.
Yeah, that was awful.
Absolutely cursed.
All right. So we have a fun segment next, and that's villains. Since it is Halloween and October, spookier time, we're going to go with a bit of a darker theme, you know? Who's your favorite villain? Well, I don't got to ask you, you know. I think your dress is one of your favorites. Came prepared. I love that.
Oh yeah, I knew. I was able to read into the future. I was
favorite?
like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
Perfect. Perfect. Maddie, who would you say is your favorite anime villain so far?
Give me your phone. I don't have service.
She can get into my phone. We have the same passcode.
We have the same passcode.
We've had the same passcode since I was like, what, 16?
That's actually adorable.
Yeah.
I love that.
Honestly, for the twists and the plot and the writing and the silly moments beforehand, Toby Obito is my favorite.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah.
It's a very solid pick.
And I can't say too much about that now that
Yeah.
I know. So,
Yeah.
but I'll say Obito is definitely my favorite.
Now that a certain somebody is going to be convinced by the masses to watch Shippuden.
We'll get you to finish it, but
We'll get you
don't
to
worry.
watch
Oh, okay.
Now,
I was
okay.
trying to figure who
Both
that was
of
from.
y'all.
I was like, hold
Both
on.
I was like,
y'all.
well, Asher was making direct eye contact with
Yeah.
me
Because
so
I heard that you've like watched a little bit and haven't been able to like push through.
they've decided that every time I come to their house that we're just watching Naruto now.
Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
happy that you
Forcing
decided
it. That's
that.
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
I
I've
do it
been
sometimes.
trying.
I mean, hey, look.
I will make it happen.
If we're just sitting around, it's like, oh, what do we want? Naruto.
Just in the background,
Naruto.
it's okay. I'll tell you when it's important. Which
Oh,
will
hey,
just
Max
be
here.
there.
Naruto.
Until you get to Shippuden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now you have
Now
to
you have
actually
to
start
watch.
paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like when Pain shows up, you have to pay attention.
I don't know. I like Baby Naruto because I love Orochimaru.
There's a lot more Orochimaru and Baby Naruto than there is Shippuden.
Yeah.
I love
Unfortunately,
Orochimaru so much.
Because
I'm
like
so sorry.
what?
But he makes me so uncomfy.
No.
I wanted to like him so bad. I really wanted
come
to
on,
try.
Mommy Orochimaru.
Oh no. I really wanted to try, but he just
Mommy
freaked me out, bro. It's
What?
his tongue. If that's what it is.
If you finish
She
Shippuden
has a
and
thing
start
with-
watching Boruto, you will understand that joke.
Oh, God.
So she gets freaked out by tongues.
I don't know what it is.
Well, that's like
It's just
that
Orochimaru's
becomes
whole
less
thing.
of a thing.
it
Yeah.
does, and then he's like easier to handle, and
Yeah.
then, like
Yeah.
by
And
the
he's just
time-
like standing in
they
his
get older,
kimono
it's
and
not-
he's just like so
Yeah.
passive now. He's like, oh, hey.
By the
yeah.
time
And then
the-
I saw him in Boruto was like complete 180, and I'm like, that's not even the same person.
And Mitsuki's like, yeah, this is my mom
yeah.
and dad.
So Orochimaru basically identifies as neither male or female because of how studious they are
Yup.
and like into science and how many experiments have been done on their body.
And how many bodies Orochimaru has been inside of. They've basically lost the concept of gender.
So Orochimaru basically has a child, but it's like
clone.
asexual child, so it's basically a clone, but it's not a clone, but it's kind of a clone. So yeah, they call Orochimaru consistently throughout the show their parent. They never refer to them as their dad.
It's my mother, father.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's like a whole episode where he's like, "What are you to me?" And he's like, "You
I'm
can
your
just say
parent."
parent." But yeah,
Actually,
Caretaker.
Kind of amazing. I love it. Because Orochimaru is just like, yeah, I'm just your parent, you know?
don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Don't ask questions. What did you do in your past? That is a question specifically that you should not ask.
Don't ask questions. So, how? Just that's a question.
I don't answer questions. I'm not the police. I don't answer questions. I only give information. You don't get to ask for information. You give what I get you.
Who's your favorite villain, Asher?
There's a lot of really good villains.
Itachi.
I know, but Itachi doesn't count.
Okay, but Itachi doesn't count, okay? Because Itachi's not a villain. Not really. But I Oh man,
Can't tell you
You
why.
can't get me going because these people need to watch Itachi's story.
Okay, so I do know that.
Okay,
though.
you do know
So
Itachi's story.
I did. So mind you, when I was growing up, my brother watched Naruto growing up.
So you know
Valid.
bits and pieces.
So when my brother was when I was like growing up, my brother was watching Naruto on Shippuden, and I would just sit in the room with him.
Gotcha.
So there are and me and her would talk about it, and she'd actually ask me questions and be like, "Can you refer back to your memories?"
Go back through your little
I
Rolodex of information.
Knew bits and pieces of Itachi's story before I started Naruto, and that was one of the things that was my driving force. Watching Naruto was like, I
Yeah.
have to force myself through this because I have to watch Itachi. I
Yeah.
have to see his story. I have to see the full thing. And then, so when I was rewatching it, I was constantly calling Mac and being like, do you remember this? I have questions. I'm coming up with theories in my brain because I'm
Yep.
really bad at looking stuff up because I'm really impatient.
Me too.
And I like call stuff out before it happens. So I'm like, I'm just going to look it up. And if you don't tell me, I'm going to look it up. And if I look it up, I'm going to spoil even more stuff. So you need to tell me what you remember.
Yeah.
And then look things up for me because I don't want to spoil anything.
True. Itachi's story specifically is very easy to get a gigantic spoiler for, though.
I was lucky. I went into Naruto
Completely blind.
Not a clue. No clue what would happen. I knew Naruto would live because there was a second show. And then in the second show, I was like, well, he's the main character, so they're not going to Harry Potter him.
Let me tell you, watching her watch Itachi's truth for the first time,
Just,
it was so fulfilling because I got to relive that moment all over again of just like
yeah, for 2 episodes straight.
Yeah.
her mouth wasn't closed for 2 full episodes.
Oh, yeah.
She was just so shocked the entire time. And I was like, yup, that's my boy.
I think that was like one of those 3 a.m. nights, like just can't stop hitting next episodes. We're so close, just have to finish this arc.
And
Yep.
then they
That's how I
finished their
was.
conversation. He's like, what? And then we're like, okay, and now we're going to bed.
Yeah, I was so mad.
And then all day, the next day, even through work, she's like, we need to watch more Naruto. I'm like, I know. We'll get there. You just got to get through today first.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say my favorite villain would probably also be from Naruto, and I would give it a tie between Pain and Madara.
Okay.
Why did I know you were gonna say?
I was
Pain?
thinking about Pain
Pain
the
is
entire
such a
time.
good villain because Pain is right. It did take a war to finally achieve peace.
Yeah.
He just went about it the wrong way.
wasn't
to
strong
put it,
enough.
He wasn't strong enough to cause that big of a war to happen, unfortunately. But I mean, Pain was strong. But he's no Madara Uchiha. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, I have 2 actually. That so like the first one I want to mention because like I don't know, you guys haven't seen the show. Durara, Izaya. I mean, he liked him because like he's this what's it called? Like he's an info broker. He has all this good like information. He's very good at manipulating and be able to work the scene and all that stuff. But that's the main reason I like him. But the second guy I'm gonna mention because I know you guys have seen this and I think it'd be easy to talk about is from JJK. He's the guy with the little worm that you can put all that stuff.
Toji.
Toji. I love Toji because like
The world's
the
worst
fact that he's
father.
able to have like the what?
The world's worst.
father.
He's a great shot, though.
Yeah, he has it all.
Yeah.
He has all the shops he keeps, man. But like
We need to
the
make
fact
a
that he's able to
villains
fight
tier
them with
list.
just his pure like physical strength, and then the weapons was like
He also,
that's pretty
He
impressive.
also has a heavenly pact, which means that he has 0 cursed energy in exchange for superior physical prowess. So that's why he's so strong and so fast, is because he has literally 0 cursed energy. That's why he's invisible to the barriers, too, and why Gojo couldn't detect him when
That's
he showed
so
up.
dope. I love that.
Yeah. And because he has 0, he's like uber strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
how I get stabbed.
yeah. That's how you get stabbed multiple times. Basically, just like completely cut open like a fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the worst I'll go through.
Yeah, not the worst. You will get broken up with as well.
Not
In
gonna
front
lie.
of a KFC.
In front of a KFC.
And they closed that
They
KFC.
closed the KFC. R.I.P. the KFC.
They couldn't take the pressure.
Oh, yeah, that's what happens when you have like 2 of the most powerful beings just sort of do that in front of your story, man. You're like, fuck,
mean,
they're
yeah.
gonna come back.
Yeah, what a tragic end to a beautiful relationship. They just couldn't bear being associated with that breakup anymore. They're like, we gotta move.
Close it down.
It's a wrap, guys.
Yep. They stole all the spotlight. No more chicken.
Oh, damn.
I don't know what it was about Toji, but I just never really grew attached to him. He just seemed very annoying, awful, disgusting.
You don't like
bad dad.
super bad himbo badass characters.
That's
it's
true.
not your thing.
That's true.
It's really funny because
definitely
there
my
were
thing.
so many people that like when they first heard about it, they're like, oh my gosh, Megumi's dad. I'm so excited to see it. And then like he hit and everybody was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, like I get the intense physical prowess and all that, but I just don't
Toji's
like
a
him.
demon though. Like, bro almost killed Gojo. Nobody's even gotten close.
I get
Yeah.
that, but also I feel like he takes cheap shots.
You have to in the jujutsu source. Okay, I'm sorry. If you're fighting a god and you get an opportunity to do some damage, but it has to be from a cheap shot, you're taking that cheap shot. I'm
Realistically,
sorry.
too, in real life, man, like King of the Sucker Punch is the one that wins the fight. Because it's like, that's going to happen.
In a
no
street
matter
fight,
what.
you're telling me you're not going to kick a dude in the crotch?
You just be mad that you didn't
It's
do
a
it
cheap
first.
shot, but you'll win.
Yeah. It's life.
Whoever wins the fight hits first. Just saying.
That's fair.
I'll
And
tell
he's
you
not in
what,
his prime anymore, so he's got to take a cheap shot.
He's
every so
not
often.
he's very one-dimensional. I
Yeah.
will say he's a very one-dimensional kind of character, but I do still like the whole idea of him, you know, like
Yeah.
the fact that he has that kind of power, the fact that he has this kind of like determination to
He's the
be that
sorcerer
person.
killer.
Yeah. And it's just like the fact that he has that is pretty impressive, but he doesn't have much else really going for him.
He's
like,
the jujutsu John Wick.
yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's
Shit.
literally what I think of him as, is like John Wick, and I hated the John Wick movies.
I love the John Wick movies, only because I love Keanu. I love Keanu so much.
He's supposed to be in a new movie, The Last Bumbleclot. I don't know how true that is, but it showed like a picture of him with like dreads and shit, and another lady with dreads right behind him. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man?
I mean, I guess we'll see. That sounds interesting
Yeah.
and also kind of scary. I loved him in Constantine though. But anyway, who is Mac's favorite villain?
Can I guess?
I want to see if I can guess. I'm
You won't get one
curious.
of them. You
I
don't know
won't.
one of them, but you do know.
Well, that's fair. Well, because so I have two that I thought immediately whenever the question was asked that I was like, oh, this might be what Max says. Toga.
I don't like classifying her as a villain. I know she's
I
one
don't
of the
either.
villains.
I'm not putting
Anti-hero
her,
But I get
I'm not.
that.
I'm not considering her my favorite villain.
Pito.
Yes, she is in fact one of them.
Duh.
Where's she from?
Neferpito
Is it Sailor
is
Moon?
from no, it's from Hunter x Hunter,
Oh, I see.
and they are a chimera ant.
That's a whole arc.
Yeah.
A whole 60 episode
Oh,
arc.
yeah.
Oh,
The
my.
best arc.
I see. I see.
And Pito is like one of the strongest, and yeah, this shouldn't have been a shock. I'm getting a tattoo of Pito's nen on my body.
Oh,
so
sick.
valid.
And
I love the
Pito.
duct tape cans.
They said no product placement, so I was like, all right.
So
hey, makes
essentially,
sense.
with the chimera ant arc, how it essentially works is there's these ants that are evolving and they're becoming other things, and they're trying to become like take over places.
Interesting.
So
Hence
they
the
take-
name Chimera. That makes sense.
They take over this entire they take over this entire island, and they chimera partially with humans
Ooh.
and
that's
other
scary.
animals. So they're trying to become a superior being, and they're trying to make the perfect king.
I mean,
And the king that they're gonna make, he's gonna be able to rule the entire world.
humans with the power of ants would be terrifying. Could you
Yeah,
imagine a human
it's
person being able to
terrifying.
lift
Yeah.
10
There's a
times their
ru-
own body weight?
There is
It's
a reason.
200.
200 times. Oh,
There
I'm
is
so
a
sorry.
reason that this arc is 60 episodes.
You're
Yeah.
just juggling semi trucks.
Because mind you, most regular humans in the Hunter x Hunter universe don't know how to use Nen,
Yeah.
which is like their magical abilities essentially.
it's like the main power system.
You have to learn how to manipulate your auras
Mm-hmm.
to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. And some people just like
Never learn.
never learn. And most people who aren't hunters don't even know that it exists. Even some hunters, they'll
They can't
pass
manifest
yeah.
the ability to use Nen.
So like one of the main characters, Leorio, he never gets like shown using a Nen ability, and he's like, I'm just chilling, man.
Interesting.
And he's one of the main characters.
Yeah, I remember him. He's like the spiky hair glasses. Dude.
Yeah, and then there's like Killua who's summoning electricity.
I mean,
Right.
Kilo was also an assassin, a professional assassin.
Yeah. And like Gon's just really good at rock, paper, scissors, man.
And he has a good sense of smell.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Like
just his natural
Tanjiro.
ability. So he uses rock, paper, scissors as the base for his Nen movements. But the Chimera ants become stronger when they start consuming people who know how to use Nen because it gives the Chimera ants these abilities.
Yikes.
So Pito ends up having one of these abilities, and they can like take things apart and stitch them together and then puppeteer them.
That's scary.
And they're like one of the 3 head soldiers for this king that's being born. So they're kind of like the first line of defense.
Interesting. Okay.
And
They're like the bodyguards for the
so
king.
Okay.
Interesting.
And
so
Pito's
you would
like
They're
think-
the drones for the queen.
the head.
Right.
Yeah.
So naturally, when you're thinking of the major fight that's going to happen between your main character and the villain of the anime, who do you think Gon would be fighting?
Probably Pito or the king.
You would think the king,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're watching this, you think it's going to be the king.
MC versus the king. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Who's the main villain. Gon uses every last ounce of power he has in order to defeat Pito. He has to make a Nen pact with himself that he loses his Nen and he uses all the Nen that he could ever have in his life. And that's the only way he was able to defeat Pito.
That's when he gets like he
The
ages
hair.
out and he
Yeah.
gets the super long hair.
Yeah, because he's
And he's, like,
made
super
a Nen.
jacked.
Yeah, he used a Nen pact that he could use all the Nen that he could ever possibly use, but his pact was that he'll never use Nen again.
Yikes.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Rock Lee.
And he like completely sucks all the energy out of himself
My
doing it.
guy.
And that is
Eight.
that's the only way that he's able to defeat Pito. That's how strong Pito is.
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Who's
I
your-
need to start Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so
Who
good.
watched the first episode of Mob Psycho?
Yeah.
Nice.
I love Mob Psycho.
That is a
Mob
good
also
one.
reminds me of Tanjiro.
Yeah.
We've only seen like 2 episodes of it, but just like him releasing the spirits and being so chill about it and being like, "What's wrong? It was easy. It was simple."
Why
I
did
was
you
like,
call me for that?
I was like,
I told you not
that's
to
so
call me
Tanjiro.
last notice. And he's like, yeah, my bad. I'm like, what is going on? Who's your other favorite villain? You said you had multiple.
I do. I'm pulling up my list. So
Mahito is also a
as
great villain.
as a villain,
Asher, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
I liked seeing the evolution of Griffith in Berserk.
I told Maddie we need to start Berserk, and she's like, "Ugh, really?" I'm like, yes.
You have to watch the specific Berserk, though. You
Okay.
have to watch. Well, I'll
one on
We'll
send you.
connect and
No,
figure out.
Not that
no.
one.
Okay.
You are going to watch it on YouTube. I will send it to you.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You have to watch the original one, not the CGI one.
Oh, okay.
What a classic anime experience. I saw that TikTok you
On
reposted
YouTube.
too.
No, you have to. It is all on YouTube. It's like regular. It's not like the little corner of the screen.
Okay. Or it's not like gigantic watermark
No,
over
you
the
have
screen.
to watch. No, you have to watch like the classic, like 90s.
Okay.
That is the best experience you will have with
That's
watching.
the
Bleach.
one that all the edits are made out of, I assume, because of the art
Berserk,
style.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have Alex find the one that we watched, and then I'll send it to you guys.
Sick.
I love that.
Because I know we need to watch Berserk. It's historical.
Yes, so good. We could, if you want, I'll watch it with you. I will totally watch it again.
Sweet.
It's a lot
Yeah.
to watch. I don't know if you know anything,
I know very
about-
little. I know a little.
especially with Griffith, but seeing Griffith, who originally was, kind of an ally of
He was
Guts.
Guts' friend.
He was Guts' friend.
His
They
childhood
worked
friend.
together. Not necessarily a childhood friend. They were kind of like, so Griffith was leading an army
Mm-hmm.
and Guts joined that army and they were working together. They kind of had and they built a bond over time.
Gotcha.
And to see what Griffith becomes it's just like it's so good to just see.
Heard.
And,
Very
like,
excited.
It's like he becomes the worst thing that you could imagine.
I believe that.
It's Berserk. Yeah, I expect that.
Yeah.
Well,
From what I
Berserk is
remember-
based off of Guts' Guts going Berserk.
And from what I remember, like they made Griffin seem like a poster child good boy and all that, right?
Yeah. Like he seems like he's gonna be like so great, and then he becomes
Betrayal.
like the ultimate. Yeah, no, truly, he is the ultimate betrayal in it.
Interesting. How about you, Shoko?
Do you want to try to guess first?
Do I want to try and guess?
Yeah.
I love the careful navigation of the drink. How responsible. Very
Drink
demure.
responsibly, kids.
Indeed. Well,
You
not
could
kids.
definitely get it for sure.
I could definitely get it for sure.
Yeah, drink that apple
The
juice
one that I'm
responsibly.
probably going to
You
say.
don't want to go pee too much.
I have two, and I think you could probably get them, but I don't think they're going to be the first ones that come to mind.
Ooh.
Green Goblin. I'm just
Yes.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
literally Willem Dafoe Green Goblin.
Green Goblin's
He was
actually
my
one of my
favorite.
favorite Spider-Man. That's like so off topic, but Green Goblin is one of my favorite Spider-Man.
Let me
Hell
let me
yeah.
cook.
I mean, Joker counts as an anime villain now.
Yep.
Technically.
Yep.
That's right. I just don't like what they did with this mouth. That was a weird.
The tattoo.
yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I mean, different art
You're
style.
throwing me off by saying
That's fair.
Okay. So I would say ones that I enjoyed watching were I did enjoy watching Payne's arc.
Oh, it's so good.
I did.
so
I
good.
really enjoyed
It's really
that.
good.
It's one of those villains where you kind of empathize very little with the entire time.
Yeah.
You're like, I kind of get it, but like this is a bit far.
Yeah. And then Sukuna.
Great
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say Sukuna for you. Okay, I'm glad
Shigaraki.
that was the other one I was gonna say. I should have just said
Great
him.
villain.
Shigaraki is my
You love a misunderstood character.
She is not free from spoilers, so she knows everything.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
I think that Shigaraki didn't have to be a villain.
No.
I feel like Shigaraki feels like he had to, but I feel like whoever got to him first as that little kid, whoever actually was
He
like,
was-
oh, you kill people by touching them. Let's not touch you, but let's show you how to use your power responsibly. Like, I feel like it could have gone fine.
Did you notice the parallels between Shigaraki and Eri?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Cool. He's groomed to be the perfect villain.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was
Just like Toya
because
was.
of grooming. He didn't have to become the perfect villain.
This is like kind of off topic. Wait, no, never mind. I can't because you're not. No,
Nope,
I'm
nope.
not going to say anything. I
Nope.
can't. Never mind. Nope. I have to
Haven't
wait until
finished
you're
the
done.
fight
I have
yet.
to
so
wait
why
until
is
you're done.
Sukuna one of your favorite villains?
I just really like him a lot. I don't know what it is.
You know who-
I
You
don't
know the
what-
guy that wants to murder
Yeah.
all the women and children.
I don't
You
know
want to
what
know
it
who
is
one of
about
the
him.
other ones I was gonna say though?
Sure.
Just has
Kenjaku.
really good
Oh
viewpoints,
yes,
you know?
yes.
I was
For
gonna
me?
say no, for me.
Oh,
I was
Ken-
gonna
that's
say
fair.
Kenjaku.
Kenjaku's a great villain. Knowing like pretty much everything about
Everything.
Kenjaku. Oh
don't
man.
know
Me and Asher,
anything.
who've read the manga.
Yeah, I
read
know
manga.
nothing about Kenjaku.
Mahito was the other one from.
Mahito was a good villain. Little short-lived.
He was.
Yeah.
I liked him before I liked Sukuna.
Valid.
I agree.
When I started,
It's just
Jujutsu
Kenjaku
Kaisen. He
pulls
was
up
the
and he's
first
like,
one, and
"Nah,
I
I
was
need
like,
you."
Yeah, he
I'm
was
gonna
the
just
first
take
one that
you.
I was like, I don't know why, but his energy is just.
Because you can tell he's very childlike because he's a brand new.
freshly born.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm completely losing it because I keep
Stop! I'm
glancing
gonna.
over
I know. I'm so sorry. Aaron
because
Yeager's
she,
on the screen.
She has the list. It's the top 100 and number 2 is just Aaron Yeager.
Yeah.
Oh, top 100 villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron
It
Yeager
literally
definitely
says-
deserves to be up there.
it's
Is
literally-
Aizen number 1?
no, it's
No,
Orochimaru.
he was number 8. I was gonna say Aizen is another one.
Yeah.
I love Aizen.
That's just on this specific website.
Does it
He
have
has
an
not been the first.
explanation?
No.
No.
No explanation.
This is
Orochimaru
the one that
opinion,
there is no
deal with it.
explanation.
it goes Orochimaru, Aaron Yeager.
Can I tell you one that I completely forgot about, but when I was looking at the list, it reminded me of you're going to be the only one? Joker.
Yes. I wouldn't really
Fuck.
classify him as a villain,
See,
though.
I didn't either,
He's
but
more
then I
of a
saw him on the
vigilante anti-hero,
Yeah, but
you
then I
know?
saw him on the list, and I was like,
'Cause,
you know
like,
what?
he-
But I really liked watching
Because he
his-
low-key helps Shinra.
He has the information. He tells him about all that
he,
stuff.
he gives Shinra the heads up about all the Adolas. Like,
Yeah.
But he also does it in a very selfish, self-serving way
Yeah.
because he's like, well, you're going to find him for me. So, I mean, shit.
But he also really rocks that eye patch.
Oh, my God. Yes, dude.
So
Not many characters can pull off an eye patch.
we've
No.
kind of briefly talked about it, but I think this is, I want to get to this topic if we don't get to anything else tonight. But the who was right villain, honestly, so I've started looking into some theories with Attack on Titan. I think that Eren Yeager was right,
Yes.
specifically because I believe in the theory that what happened, the rumbling, all of that, only happened because of Ymir. I think that Eren Yeager wanted them to kill him in that room and stop it.
He did.
That's why
Yeah.
he antagonized them the way he did. That's why he fought Armin and
Yep.
belittled Mikasa. Because if he did it the opposite, tried to fight Mikasa, first of all, he's getting his ass handed to him.
From the very beginning of wanting to kill the Titans, he believed that he was right. And from his perspective, I think that he was right. And then once he knew more information and he learned his powers and what he could do with those powers, he tried to make it right. And then everything went crazy because Ymir started
Predetermined everything.
Exactly. So I think that Eren Yeager was right, but Eren Yeager was being puppeted, and
Yes.
the puppet was incorrect.
There's a
Yeah.
there's a pretty famous fan art of when Historia is holding the necklace. It actually no, it's not even fan art. It's in one of the intros where Eren is literally being puppeted by like these ligaments above him in like a gigantic Titan form. Eren was never in control.
Yeah.
From the very beginning of episode 1, he wakes up, he's locked in.
Yep. It was
That
all
is
Ymir.
the timeline they are in. And
Ymir
it's all
is the
because of
villain.
Ymir. Yep.
Villain with
Such a
a
good show.
purpose,
Oh my God.
but
I could talk
a
about
villain.
AOT all day, every day. But
Who else was right?
who else was right? 'Cause Maddie just stole mine.
Scar from Full Metal Alchemist. I won't say much because I know you guys are starting to watch it and stuff, but Scar. I'll just say Scar because
Scar from
what
Brotherhood.
happened to him?
Scar from Brotherhood is right. Scar from regular Full Metal is a little off the rails.
Yeah.
I know you don't
Bang.
like this as a response, but I'm gonna say Itachi, and that's
Itachi
what
was definitely
fuels
right.
The argument
Yeah.
of him not being
Yeah.
Itachi
villain.
He
did
was the
what he
villain
had
who
to
was
do.
right.
right.
Because like he had no choice. Because if he let what was going to happen actually happen, everything would have been drastically different.
Oh, yeah.
The leaf would have been fucked. Like
Yeah.
there would have not been winning that war. So he basically just prevented that war. So he was definitely in the right. Sure, was it like a plan given to him by somebody with ulterior motives and ultimately was a selfish plan to begin with? Yes.
But he could have turned down the mission, and he didn't.
And if he had turned down the mission, things would have gone way
Wildly
worse
different. Yeah.
Yep.
than they did. So Itachi was definitely right. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Good job, Itachi.
Mine's Stain.
I mean, yes,
Yes.
Stain is also right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stain
The
is also
entire,
totally justified.
because like kind of especially when you see his talk with like All Might later, it's
At the
literally
statue?
making the point that he was right all along.
Yeah.
Because all these heroes are now retiring because their fame is going away.
Right.
It's
The
like
people who were in it for the fame aren't
really in it anymore.
right.
But then All Might remembering his conversation with Izuku and like can I be a hero even without quirks? And All Might standing there and he's like,
Oh my god.
I told him yes. How am I going to stand here and not do anything about this without quirks?
Yup.
When I told him that, I have to do something. Oh, so good.
I agree.
Beautiful, beautiful writing. My hero is definitely top 5 new gen for me.
Are there any other villains that you guys think were totally justified?
I'm trying to think of
It's a hard question.
I think there's a shocking amount of people who think Light Yagami was right.
Really?
So, in a way,
Because
I kind of agree with Light Yagami.
but
and I
like they think he was like
kind of right.
absolutely right.
Not
Like,
the entire time.
they will like
He
die
wasn't-
hard for
He
him.
wasn't right the whole time.
Right.
The point got away from him.
his
In his
Method
quote
was
unquote ascent
incorrect.
to godhood. Like it
Yeah.
became very egotistical. And he definitely developed some delusions of grandeur.
he
along the
shouldn't
way.
have gone so hard so quick. Why was he just like filling up pages
And
right
why
away?
only Japan? Like,
Yeah.
bro. Way to
Like,
give yourself away. Like,
look up
immediately.
the world's worst criminals, and then from there, go very slowly.
FBI most wanted.
Yeah.
They literally have their names written down for you.
Like, you need to know the statistics on how many prisoners normally die a day, and then you just up that by like 5. Like, you can't do anything crazy. You're gonna get caught.
And pick different countries. Like, that's the biggest flaw in
Yeah.
all of Death Note. Is like, why only Japan? If you didn't do only Japan, L would have never found you. Or it would have taken months longer to narrow it down.
You guys aren't gonna know this one, but I just pointed it to Alyssa to see if she agreed with me. I just showed her Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, which Meruem is the name of the king from the Chimera Ant arc.
I see.
And how the king actually dies is he just chooses to.
Oh,
I love that.
So there's a whole thing where he becomes like obsessed with trying to get to like on top and be the best that you can be.
basically trying to become the perfect being.
Yes, and so what he starts doing is he starts playing board games, like chess and things like that, and
I love
they get
that.
harder and harder. And then there's this game in there that he starts playing, and he
Russian
brings
roulette.
he brings in this girl, and he's like, you need to get me the best player of this game. And it's this girl, and she comes in, and it's like this blind girl who she's just so kind. And like just from playing the game with her, he ends up, doesn't he end up losing in the end?
Yes, I
So,
think so.
he literally loses. The only person he's ever lost to becomes this girl. And he's like, I just want to spend my last moments like with
Basking in
you.
this moment.
She's just so pure. And
Yeah.
he just cannot fathom that she is just so like nice and just the way that she is. And she's just so
Interesting.
like
Bro's a sore loser.
respectful and just very like, even when they're playing, she's just like, anything you want me to do, like I'll do it. And anything you want me to do, I'll do it. And he's just like, I can't, like, he feels like I kind of got the vibe that he was like, he felt like he was taking advantage of her kind of. And was like, I at first was leaning into it and then was like, this feels wrong.
Like, why am
being
I
around
taking
her, the
advantage of
goodness
her?
is rubbing off onto him, and he is like changing the way that he's thinking about like living and
Interesting.
humans and other human beings and things like that.
From being wrong to realizing like the opposite of what life actually is, and he just kind of chooses to just die and let his race die out.
Interesting.
Oh God.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the best. Like, I know it's not exactly like the villain who was right, but it's like the choice.
He made a good choice.
He made the right choice.
Yeah.
Bro played checkers with a little girl and was like, you know what? Maybe I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
That's like
And she's just, king me, please.
like they're playing for days.
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're playing this game for days.
He gets like frustrated and will like just send her off because he just doesn't understand like why she's so nice.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, people change.
Yeah. God, yeah, I really need to watch Hunter x Hunter. This sounds
We
so
finally
good.
got Haley to start it, and I've
Yeah.
never been happier in my
I told
entire
Haley,
life.
because I told Haley, I was like, Haley, I promise, you just got to get past the part where they run for 2 episodes.
I tried
Yeah.
getting her to start it. I didn't prepare her.
The
for them to be
tower
running
is
for 2
where-
episodes.
She got
Yes.
to that
Yeah.
point where they were running, and she's like, all they're doing is running. I've been watching this episode for 10 minutes, and all they're doing is running. I'm
She didn't like
never
watching the
picking up
track
Hunter x Hunter
stars?
again. And I was like, I failed.
The
I
tower
failed.
arc killed it for me. I stopped around there because I couldn't power through it.
So wait, what was the name of the clown guy? The dude with
The
like
tower.
Who?
Like,
He's
Hisoka.
talking about
that guy was
the-
creepy as shit because he was like enjoying the fight with
arena.
like
He
Gon.
gets off of Gon's
Heaven's Arena?
potential. Because he wants to murder Gon, but he wants to murder Gon when he's at his strongest.
It's
And
perverted
he
the
can
way
see
he.
the potential in he like gets off on it. He
Yeah.
gets off on killing strong
he's-
people.
Yeah. he
So
Who
he's
happen
like,
to be
oh,
children.
he gets off on he likes
Worse.
bloodlust.
well, yeah, he gets off on Gon and Killua because they have potential to be stronger than him, and he wants to kill them when they're at their best, basically. So they're like brewing.
I'm just thinking about
he's
the
grooming
scene
them.
where Gon and Hisoka are fighting in the tower. You said the tower, and that's the only thing that I'm thinking about right now. And
Well, the tower specifically is like when they're starting
I had
to
to take a
learn
break after that
what
episode. I
Nen
was like, I'm
is
done.
and how to use Nen in like those tower fights, and like they're like betting money and like getting money to stock up, and then they leave.
Oh yeah, they're making like thousands and thousands of dollars off these fights.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of the Ryu Jr. from that show? He was like the guy that was like
He was like
the
a little
learning-
kid in the karate gi. He was
Yeah,
like,
he had the big old bushy eyebrows.
and, like kept losing every single fight because he's like literally 6.
He had some great energy.
I mean, yeah, he had some great energy.
His
but like,
vibes were there.
What is bro doing? And this
He's doing
teacher is
his
just like,
best.
get
Right,
back
doing
in
his
there.
best.
It's like, this kid's gonna die.
He's doing his best.
Okay. So
So
if
you
I
got
put you in
this.
the octagon with like an undefeated champ, and I'm like, you do your best, do you think that's gonna be good enough?
Hey, he made it a lot farther than most people do.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
gusto
that's
right there.
valid, but I feel like you're just like putting him in a dangerous situation with,
And then
with
there's-
no tools.
And then there's Killua.
Yeah, he's like, hey, this is your heart.
You want
Do you
it?
want it back? Like, he's like,
That's
how
mine.
did you get that? He's
He's
like,
like, why am I so cold? And Kilo was like, your
Well-
heart's in my hand.
he's like, can I have that back?
He's like, oh,
Hey,
yeah,
that's
sure.
mine.
Here you
Give
go.
it back.
he's-
And Killua just drops it on the floor.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Great scene.
Killua was my other contender for what I was gonna wear today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Aw,
it's
we could have
the
done
s-
Killua and
It's
Gon.
the same. This different. This.
yeah. You love a good white-haired character. Valid.
I'm gonna get a pigtail wig for Gon. I think, or not Gon, for Killua now.
A pigtail wig. for
Yeah,
Gon
that's what
would
I'm
be
gonna do
crazy.
for Gon whenever I do Gon.
Yeah.
I also
Put my hair
wanted
in
more of
pigtails.
Kurapika's story. They kind of like just completely stopped telling. I know.
So
Don't
the
even
manga
start with me. I
chapters,
know.
the manga chapters that come not immediately after where the anime ends. There's a tiny arc
Mm-hmm.
that's like super tiny, like it's like this big.
Okay.
This big, small, like one of the smallest arcs in all of Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, I see.
Comes immediately after where the anime ends,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just thrusts you right into Killua's, or not Killua's, Kurapika's arc, where he's just hunting down
The
the eyes.
So wait, they never complete that in the anime?
No, they leave off at so what happened was the manga was kind of stopped
It went
for
on
a while.
hiatus
It went
'cause
on
he went into
hiatus
the
for a
hospital.
very, very long time.
Oh, that's fair.
And that arc never got finished writing, and so they stopped the arc before it, and they never renewed for another season.
Because I never finished it, but I always thought that at least they came to a conclusion that he went for the eyes. That's his whole.
Yeah, no. So they tell you that he's going for the eyes, but the manga actually starts telling that story.
Oh, okay.
Because the manga because with the anime is almost Gon's complete story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit more with Gon where you kind of find out he no longer has his Nen, that he's probably not going to get it back, and he does that little short adventure with his dad. After that, he's gonna go back, and you're gonna start focusing on what's happening with Kurapika.
Nice. And I assume Killua will become relevant again.
I'm not very far past there reading wise, but from what I know, there just hasn't been much written because Killua went.
Wasn't me.
I know.
It wasn't Asher this time.
Killua goes his separate ways from Gon as well.
I see. Okay.
Because at the end of the anime, you do see Gon and Killua decide to go separate ways.
So Gon's like the MC, but not really.
Yeah.
Kind of like Yuji's the MC, but not really.
I have a good question to ask before we close out. Are you
We're waiting.
Yeah, what's your question?
Okay. We should do Shigaraki versus Sukuna. Neutral world. Both can use their powers.
Sukuna wins.
Why?
Because he's going to dismantle him before he touches anything.
Can he dismantle him without touching him?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you think he dismantled like a 100-meter wide surface of all of Shibuya? Like, that.
Well, he was touching it. His feet were on the ground.
He was mid-air when that happened.
He was like floating in the air.
Yeah.
No, he
because
jumped up
Maharaga was
afterwards.
about to grab him, and then he did Malevolent Shrine in the middle of the air
he
and
did domain
dismantled the
expansion in the middle of
entire
the air.
city.
Yeah, but Shigaraki can fly, and like he has all for one. He has the
Are you
ability
talking
to avoid
about
those things.
Shigaraki like?
Oh, like peak Shigaraki.
Okay.
So like peak of what we've seen in the anime.
Yeah, I mean for my context, yeah, but I'm sure.
I still think
Wait,
Sukuna
how
will
far
win.
are you?
It's
They're
finished.
We're caught up on the
anime-wise.
anime.
Oh, you're caught up on the anime. Okay.
Yeah. I still think Sukuna would win.
Why?
Why? He's the king of curses. Like he is. I can't tell you.
I mean,
too
but
much 'cause you
Shigaraki
just
is
don't
nearly
know.
all powerful.
I don't think that Shigaraki's fast enough.
Exactly. Like he gets inside of. Well, the thing about Malevolent Shrine is it doesn't manifest inside of an enclosed space. That's why Malevolent Shrine is so strong.
Yeah,
He can
it's just like
manifest
the
it
open
in the
space.
real
Yeah.
world.
Right.
The world is his domain expansion. Like in essence, it's just a radius. So like Shigaraki's gonna try to rush and touch him.
Yeah.
He gets within 100 meters, gone.
Also, are we talking like how many fingers are we talking Sukuna's got?
Well, if it's peak Shigaraki, it's 20 finger Sukuna,
Yeah.
and you're losing that.
if you're looking at Shigaraki at his strongest versus Sukuna at his strongest,
Shigaraki's getting bodied.
yeah.
I don't.
It's not even much of a
I don't
competition.
think it's as. Now I guess I just don't
But
have as
you
much
don't
context on
know.
Sukuna.
You don't even know.
I don't
That's
have-
the
Yeah.
thing. You've only seen up into the anime. The anime is nowhere close.
Then give me a better comparison. I can't do. I was gonna do Sukuna versus
Okay,
Kaguya.
that would be like season 1. No. Okay, that'd be like season 1 All Might, where he's like kind of old, battered, kind of broken up, but still strong, versus current Shigaraki. Like that would be the strength and power difference between full strength Sukuna and current
Okay,
Shigaraki.
that's so. Give me a better comparison.
To like who would fight Shigaraki, or what do you mean better comparison?
Okay, here's my comparison. Let's do Kaguya. Kaguya is an alien who can transport herself through dimension. She has super powerful like fists and like her actual attacks.
Yeah,
Versus Sukuna.
I don't know. That'd be difficult because she can basically just like open up a gateway wherever she wants and just phase into her own dimension and then just come back whenever she wants. So
She might actually have a chance.
she might have a chance because she can do it pretty quickly. They never really like give context as to how quickly it happens, but most of the characters, including Naruto and Sasuke, can't really catch her when she goes in, but it's open long enough that they can also go through it and they fight her in her own pocket dimension. But like she's also an Otsutsuki, which is like the epitome of chakra. So like they're basically gods in their own sense.
Versus the King of Curses. He does domain expansion and she goes to another domain.
But that would also beg the question, can Malevolent Shrine go through the portal?
Yeah,
This is
can it
the-
transfer into her domain?
Could it cut the portal?
Well, is there anybody to compare her against like that? She actually have to cut through their domain or their portal.
So
She
Not
does have
really.
to fight through the portals.
yeah, so like she portals away and like they fight in the space, but they don't actually fight while inside of a portal. So I think it's literally just like a wormhole basically. So
Like
it
a
opens,
door.
like when you play Portal.
Yeah,
right?
so if the
as
door is
soon as you
open-
pass through, it passes through. So in a sense, if Malevolent Shrine could get through, he would win. Because like you can't beat Cleaver Dismantle. Because it's directly in reference to how strong the user is. You know what I mean? And like if he can beat Maharaga, he can beat a lot of people.
I think you are glazing Sukuna way too much.
No, though, but no. Like, look at Mac right now. No.
I'm not even as far as you are, and I'm like,
Sukuna's a menace.
yeah,
if-
Sukuna's.
If no, then the final page of JJK is just going to be a white page because there is no world after Sukuna. If
Nope.
Sukuna is as strong as you are saying.
There are other ways to beat people other than physical strength.
So why can't these other people do that?
Because Kaguya doesn't know the things that these people know.
Oh my god. You are ridiculous.
I'm okay. In 3 years, when JJK is done, we will have this
In
conversation
10
again,
years.
and you will finally understand.
In 10 years.
Okay, I mean, I hope it's not 10 years. That would make me sad. I need
They be slow sometimes.
I need it to be done in the next 5.
All right.
Well,
Hurry
the
up,
manga's
JJK.
done, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much done.
So
It is done.
I think it is. I think
I mean, yeah, like the chapters are done, but I mean, he could just like sauce out something real quick if he wanted to. Like, where are they now? I just want more. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, okay,
See-
so like the actual like story,
The actual
whole,
story is done.
It's finished.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's finished.
I didn't say it finished a couple weeks ago. Did
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
There's been a few.
I haven't
actually
read the
doing
ending.
that
I'm not
happening,
allowed
too.
to. Somebody will get upset with
No.
me.
Uh-oh.
I know most
Do I
of
need
it
to
though.
catch up?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just go catch up, and then I'll just tell you, in Vegas terms of how you're going to feel. I won't
Okay.
even tell you any information. I'm just gonna go, Asher,
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
be
be
upset."
in pain.
After this, I'll tell you where I left off and what I know, and then beyond that,
Yeah, just give me a chapter, and
Yeah,
I'll be like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'll catch up.
yeah. It's like in the 260s, so it's pretty much close to the end.
Oh, I'm not even that far. I don't think.
Well, is there any other Halloween-y things that we wanted to touch on?
I think we covered everything.
I think we covered everything we set out to cover. We got to watch Uzumaki, got to talk about that. That was a great experience. It was a lot better than I was expecting. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. The reviews were way too harsh for it.
I agree.
Yeah.
In my book, Uzumaki gets a solid 9 out of 10.
I say like 8 out of 10.
I feel like an 8.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it a lot. So
I would
I
like
like it
more.
a lot.
I would
I
like
like
more
it a lot,
context.
but I have my
Nine.
gripes.
Yeah,
That's
I want
fair
more context.
because you read the manga first. I'm sure if
Yes.
I read the manga first, I would feel the same way.
It's
Feel free to
always
borrow
hard
it.
to appease the people who read the
After
books
me,
first.
though.
Yeah, that's valid.
I got the crash course, but I still want to read it.
Yeah, you need to digest it slowly.
You guys can. One of you can take Tomoe home. The other
Yeah.
one, or Tomie home. The other one can take Uzumaki. When
then
you're
and
done,
then we'll swap.
Yeah.
Yes, I like this plan.
Absolutely.
I like this plan. And then we'll reconvene on how we feel
Oh, yeah.
again.
Oh,
Turns
yeah.
into a book club podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Manga
there you go.
And Mac
podcast.
and I
We all
will-
read JJK.
Everybody
Yes.
just read My Hero so I can start talking about things.
Please. Can we please?
Do they have any of those omnibus?
I don't get it. I
feel a
haven't
bunch of
even-
those omnibus
I
ones
have
where it's
only
like 3
read
chapters
parts
in
of
one.
My Hero.
3
I haven't
books.
actually personally read it. I get it fed to me because I
love
get the
that for you.
leaks. I would always get the leaks on Twitter or on TikTok, and I'm like, can you just tell me? Can you just send me manga panels and
My
tell
favorite-
me what happened, please?
My favorite was it always came out on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a shocking amount of times that there is a Sunday that me, her, and Haley are at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
So I'd be reading these chapters in the middle
Pull
of Cracker
out-
Barrel.
She'll pull
Cracker
out her
Barrel.
phone and read and,
And I'd
read
be like,
all
all
the
right,
chapters.
guys, time to do our weekly My Hero update.
I love that. I love that for you guys. Well, this has been a great episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it to your friends. You know, they might learn something. They might find a new thing that they're looking to get into.
If you disagree, yell at us in the comments.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
talk about it.
Give me your hot takes because I'm curious on how other people view these things and not just like our circle of confirmation
Let's
bias.
beef.
Yeah. Well, I'm not necessarily beef. I mean, if you
Oh,
want,
yeah,
if your
beef, that's how you
if your
get
take is
views.
hot enough,
Discuss.
Yeah.
Discuss.
somebody's just gonna comment, Aaron Yeager sucks. Fight me. I'll find you.
Puff out your chest and say it, boy.
I'll convince you others. But have a great Halloween, and we're out.